Hey there guys, welcome to Drunk Story Time, and I have got to tell you that I've been watching a million YouTube videos about how to do editing, and the one thing that I have learnt
is that the more you drink, the harder it gets, so don't expect anything spectacular from the editing about this video.
But what we're going to talk about today is the Sydney siege at the Lidnt Cafe. Now, I know a lot of people are upset about it, but I have seen some comments about people who are sick of hearing about it, and I'm not here to say yes, no, good for you, bad for you, Australian. I'm not here to say any of that stuff, because I'm usually one of the last people to find out about news of any description. But what I am here to talk about is probably feelings, and feelings about family. Now, I as an Australian find this quite impactful, and with everything that's happened in Australia previously that could be somehow misconstrued or expected as a terrorist effect, even if it's just some nutjob with a gun in a mall in Tasmania, we pull together. We pull together quite well, actually, and we pull together in a very aggressive standpoint, deport the Muslims, shame some other minority. I can't really think of any right now, but I've had a significant amount to drink, and I'm not just picking on Muslims. But I find it quite empowering that something happened in Sydney, and the rest of Australia has, hit the social media as if they themselves were hurt. I find that quite empowering and quite beautiful, actually, because I'm very much a very simple person, and if it doesn't affect me, I don't have an opinion on it normally. But I'm not going to talk about the way the families feel, the families have lost, the families who were lucky, the families who just didn't happen to go there that day. I suppose they're lucky families as well. Oh, excuse me. But what I'm going to talk about is me as an individual. And that's what this is about. I'm not here to pretend I know shit about stuff that I have not been involved in. But what I do know is that I managed to catch this on the news, and I very rarely catch anything on the news, ever. And upon witnessing most of it live, I was intrigued. I wasn't scared, I wasn't horrified, I wasn't anything. I was intrigued. So I did spend a lot of time not sleeping over the last 2 nights, just keeping track of this. And then this morning, after it was over, it was sad. People died. Whenever people die, it is sad. But I spent the day today with my family, which is a normal day for me. We're a very family-orientated family. How many times you can use that word before it stops having meaning. But me and my sister, we worked together in the same industry, on opposite parts of the industry, but within the same building for 6 years. She was a restaurant manager and I was a bar manager in the same building. And we loved it. We loved working together. There's a lot of people that have problems with that, but we loved working together. So I live across the road from my father and I work with my sister, and I could not be a happier person. And I'm not going to speculate about terrorism, ISIS, people who feel fortunate, people who feel betrayed, people, I'm not here to do that. What I'm here to talk about is that after hearing about this thing that had happened, today I appreciated the people that I have and the people that I love a little bit more. And I don't care if you're sick of hearing about it, if it hurts you to hear about it because you have a loss, or if you're just a spectator on the side who was overly offended that Australia has had this happen within it. I feel like this is the right way to feel. I came away from this after knowing people had died, after knowing people had been terrorized, after knowing something bad had happened, and I loved people I already loved a little bit more. I'm not saying that you can't do that if you had loss, and I'm not saying you can't do that if you were in any other situation, but this is all just about me, and I've had a lot to drink, so we're going to keep rolling on instead of trying to work out semantics and things that I don't have the words for right now. But today, it being close to Christmas, I spent majority of the day shopping with my sister. We ended up buying fucking nothing, because shops at Christmas time have little of what you're looking for and everything you don't want, and things you never knew you needed but can't live without. So, I'm going to tell you about my day after the event instead of trying to speculate about it. So, what happened today was I slept late because I'd been watching the news all night. English. And I woke up, and the first thing I went to do was I went and picked up my little sister. And I went and picked her up, and we went Christmas shopping. And we were in the first shop, didn't find what we were looking for, but we were walking past, well, I was walking past, I actually didn't notice. We were walking past a woman who was very upset, who was screaming at an employee in one of the shops we were in. And my sister, being the person that she is, we both work in hospitality and we both are responsible for other people, she became very defensive. Me as a male went, this shop doesn't have what we want, let's go to the next one. So I suddenly realized she wasn't following me, and she had stopped to witness what was happening. And what was happening was a woman, a full-grown woman, was screaming at a 17-year-old retail shop employee who had gone to try and find the woman information about a certain item that she wanted to purchase. And I'm sure, as you're aware, it was a rather large department store, and being a young person with no information, you have to go through several avenues before you actually find someone who knows what the fuck this lady wants to talk about. And she came back with the information eventually, and the woman was very upset by what she was given, so she started to yell at said young person. And my sister, being the person that she is, stopped and glared at this lady quite openly, until the lady realized that she was being scrutinized so openly by this young woman who is my sister that she actually stopped. And then she went back to her husband and tried to relate her case to her husband, at which point my sister positioned herself in a place that she could glare at the husband as well. And the husband has said to the woman, "You cannot speak to people like that." No, I'm not pretending to know anything about this woman. She might be upset, she might be hurt, she might be anything. But you do not take it, you as a grown-ass woman do not take out shit like that on a 17-year-old retail worker. That's part of the reason that retail is shit. And I can tell you, as someone who's worked in a bar for the last 7 years of his life, it is overly privileged people that think that they are so much better than you, that make your life hell. And it's fucking Christmas, guys. You do not scream at a 17-year-old who is trying to do their best for you. So my sister stopped, and she glared at this woman, and my sister, like, I'm 28, she's 4 years younger than me. 24, 25 in October. February. Mixing up birthdays. Doesn't matter. She stopped to specifically position herself to glare at this woman, which made the woman stop. And then, because I was already on my way out of the shop and I didn't even hear it, from where we were to the exit of the shop, my sister was trying to reiterate to me what had happened. After we left the shop, it finally dawned on me what she was actually explaining. And I feel like if I had have known, I would have comforted that person, but I couldn't have done any more than my sister did in the moment. And then we left the shop. And if my sister had not stopped to just give at least a judgmental glance to a woman who was reacting possibly with an appropriate amount of indignance, but in a wrong amount of aggression, who knows what that 17-year-old might have learned through her Christmas holiday joys. I know myself, working Christmas is a fucking pain in the ass. Because, you know, everyone's cheap shit, everyone's free shit, everyone doesn't want to, like, be courteous. Everyone's upset and they take it out on the person who has to work. People get holidays this time of year, but not everybody. And some people need to remember that. So we left that department store with me thinking, not more of my sister, but me being grateful that I have someone that I'm related to who is that concerned about the general younger person that she does not know. Like, my sister did not know this girl from a bar or so, but she stopped to portray her indignance about it in the hopes that this lady would stop abusing this girl at this time of year. Things become more impactful around the holidays because they're always more sensitive. They're meant to be about family. If you don't have family, you're upset. If you do have family, you're stressed. And if you have a big family, then you're obviously missing one part at some point, and you're still stressed because you have to buy for the rest of them. It's a big time of year for everybody. And my sister took the time to stop thinking about herself and what we were doing to help someone else. And while we were sitting in the car, I'm going to say right now, I am not the most observant driver. Or maybe I'm a hyper-observant driver. That's me driving. I'm ambiently aware of what is happening where it should be happening, but I'm not focused on what it is. And we're sitting at this set of lights, ready to go to the next store. And the first car in line, us being the third car in line, does not move. The second car in line floors it at the green light. That happening, I've started to move as well as the car in front of me. My sister starts saying, stop, stop, stop. And I trust her, so I stopped. I had no idea why. But I stopped, and next thing, the front of the car in front of me proceeded to explode. Like, not fire, not anything like that, but bits of it came flying off fucking everywhere. And I was like, holy shit. At which point, my sister tried to get out of the car several times. It's a green light, busy street, cars are zooming past us either side of the lane we're in. And she's trying to get out of the fucking car. I drive a big wing nut fucking doors. She would have been taken out easily. And she said to me, she's like, we need to see if that guy's okay. I'm like, just wait. She's like, but he's not moving. And I said, please just wait, don't get hit by a car. And on her side of the car was a turning lane. So it didn't matter whether the light was red or green, there were cars coming down that street. But on my side of the car, it was just another street connected to the light we're on. So as soon as the light went red, she's like, go, go, go. I've jumped out of the car. I've run up to see this poor guy. A mid-40s man. Just made a mistake. Light went green. He went to go. Smashed up someone. But his car was pissing out fluids. And I just sat there and I made sure he called the ambulance. I made sure he called the fire brigade. I didn't have my phone on me. It was still back in the car with my sister. And then I made sure he was okay. First thing I said was, are you alright, mate? And he's gone, yeah, I'm fine. I said, are you sure? He's like, oh, I think I'm fine. I said, alright. He had a bit of a mark on his face where his head had obviously hit the steering wheel. Airbag didn't go off, but that's something to do with lawyers and car manufacturers and shit that I don't know fuck about. But yeah, he seemed fine. The lady that he'd hit, her car seemed mostly fine. His car was fucked. Like, his car was... It looked like someone had tried to put out a forest fire with a screwdriver in, like, points of looking good. But yeah, anyway, she'd come back across. They were dealing it out. I jumped back in my car, and I've just pulled out into the turning lane, and we've gone. And my sister's still freaking the fuck out. She's like, is he okay? Is he doing alright? I was like, yeah, fine. She's like, we've got to stay. I'm like, no, we've got to get out of the way so service vehicles can get there. And the conclusion of all this, these two stories that I told today, there was many more. Me and my sister, we had an amazing time shopping. We always get along really well together. But the conclusion in all these stories is that I love my family, and I find my sister to be an incredibly passionate person who stands up for people she doesn't know and nearly throws herself into oncoming traffic for possibly the lives of people that she doesn't know either. And I don't know what I would have done if she was trapped in that coffee shop, let alone if anything had have happened to her. So all I can say is, from my perspective, it was a tragedy. I'm not going to say global, I'm going to say personal tragedy. Because I spent the day after it with time with my family. I spent the whole day with my sister. I spent the evening with my father, my stepmother, and my stepsister, drinking, having fun, talking. And I can't conceive the fact that one of those might have been hurt over that time period, or that one of those mightn't be there anymore. And that's really the only way I can understand what's happening. I'm not taking anything away, and I'm not really giving anything. I'm just being incredibly thankful. And I didn't want this to be an overly serious video, but you gotta roll with what's happening at the time. And this is very new. It's just happened, and quite frankly, I feel for those people who lost today. I'm not going to harp on about it. I'm not going to tell them how to feel, how to do, how to anything, because I've got no idea. Because after a day that was full of tragedy and suspense, I got to spend the whole day with people I love and respect and who I'm happy to be related to. And you know what, that's more than a lot of people got to do today. So I'm just being real thankful today. And drunk. Don't not forget drunk. How was it directing my video, Steph?
It was alright.
It's alright. Right.
Little drunk.
She nearly threw herself into fucking oncoming traffic because she was worried about the guy in front of her. He's a good person. And I'm lucky to have known her as long as I have, and I hope to know her for a lot longer than I do. Do now. Anyway guys, I'm sorry if this took on a serious note, but this is today's Drunk Ramble. It was meant to be about the Telstra billing system, but this just happened and I feel like I need to talk about it. So next week, maybe you'll get to hear about the Telstra billing system. Unless something else that I feel like talking about happens. But I'm thankful to all those people who are mourning. I'm sorry to all those people who aren't mourning. Be grateful. And to everyone else, have a good day. Anyway, see you guys.